last year suggested that winter can go on for a very long time. Now, my house runs on wood. All the heating runs on wood. But we still have lots of electrical devices. And for those of you who've been following Carpathian Adventure, my channel, and have been keeping their eyes out on the news, you may be aware that we're entering an energy crisis. The price of fuel, gas, electricity is going to go so phenomenally high, it'll basically be unaffordable. Because of this, there are secondary problems, especially with animal production. Some are experiencing between 250 and 600% price hikes in energy prices, meaning they don't make a profit, they just stop selling. Meaning, you, me, as the consumer, we don't get food. Add to that the supply chain issues where the food can't be delivered anyway. We're really facing a winter of discontent. Now, I've been a prepper for many years, if you could term it that.
On a much higher level, there obviously is something in the works.
Do some people think your ideas are far-fetched, even crazy?
Yeah, of course.
While Edward's fears can't be corroborated, he's preparing for the worst. And that starts with not relying on supermarkets.
And for many years, preppers have been laughed at for saying, keep a bit of extra food in the house, keep a secondary fuel supply, keep some means of either storing water, drinking water, or purifying water should the need arise. And people laugh at it. Ha ha ha, I go to the supermarket every day and I visit the delicatessen and get my Kappa Fropper fucking Macpuccino. Well, as can be seen in the Washington Post, lower your expectations for the future. As the brilliant YouTuber Mr. Obvious pointed out, they're basically saying let them eat cake. I'm really telling you to prep, like now. Don't wait any longer. This winter will bring in a lot of changes to our lives, many of which will not return, as happened during the COVID pandemic. These changes are being implemented for a reason. David Icke pointed out the problem, reaction, solution methodology of the powers that be. The most extreme of that is where you have a false flag event, where there is an attack on home soil, you blame an enemy, and solution is you go and attack them. This has happened in the past. The most famous recent version I'm not going to mention, but I'm sure you can all guess what I'm talking about. But for example, you have a pandemic is the problem. How do you react to it? Well, you have worldwide lockdowns, quarantines, surveillance. Need I say more? This is all leading up to 2030. And Klaus Schwab and friends from the World Economic Forum's concept of how we're going to live, where you won't own anything, you'll basically be under 24-hour surveillance, and you'll be really, really happy because they tell you to. We are leading up to this. And each year now, I think we'll go through a big change after a big change. We've already done the the lockdown, social restrictions, social isolation. We've already done the destruction of traditional family values and gender values. Now, this makes me laugh because after the last video, I was lying in bed thinking, God, there's so much more I wanted to say. But one thing I really wanted to say was about the airlines, where now if you fly, you have to wear a face mask. Now imagine you're sitting like this and you're no longer male or female. You're just a number.
Are number 6.
Passenger number 356.
I am not a number. I am a free
And
man.
because of this problem, reaction, solution methodology, our youth are actually fighting for this. We want freedom to be identified as what we want. They really don't see where this is leading. I'd like to give a big shout out today again to Bjorn Andreas Paul Hansen, because he really is keeping it going, the struggle. Keep going, Bjorn. You're a brave man. Please, the message today, you can see from this physical effort to stock up for just winter prep. Really look into just your basic prepping, your basic food supply, tinned goods, pasta, rice. Cycle it each week. Buy a load, store some, buy more next time. Cycle the older stuff. But make sure you have a balanced, healthy diet in your cupboard for about 3 months, if you can afford it, because you may need it. Heating, as I've said before, most of you probably live in urban areas and you can't go to the forest and get wood. Look into maybe having a propane tank, gas heater at home. Obviously, follow the safety instructions. I personally hate propane tanks. They frighten the shit out of me. I used one for many years for my oven, and that was just scary as hell, having to climb behind an oven to change your propane tank while holding it. But there are means of heating. The game's afoot, and there are definitely changes in the air, most of which we're not privy to, and we'll only hear about them as and when we're allowed to, usually when it affects us personally. Stock up on fuel, petrol, diesel. Stock up on heating fuel. Get some warm clothes. I spend a lot of time wearing 2 fleeces and a pair of thermal trousers, so I don't need to put radiators on or light a fire. If you live on your own, or if you're like me, sleep in a sleeping bag under a duvet. Save money because you're going to need it. Don't take out any loans now, seriously. There are some nasty financial waves on the horizon. Some really nasty ones, leading up to worse than the 2008 crisis. This was postponed because of COVID, and it's really building up. A big credit and housing bubble coming. Remember, the aim is not to be some doom porn monger, because that's not healthy. The aim is to not just survive, but thrive, you and your family. So you have to be able to see what's coming and prepare for it, so you can weather the storm and hope that on the other end of that storm is a better life for all of us. Don't go into the negativity of it. See it as a challenge. There are some really messed up individuals in control of this planet with very, very self-serving interests. You just got to try and work out what their game is and try and stay at least one step ahead of the herd. Don't lose sight of your humanity. Help others. Don't become selfish. Don't become a hoarder. If someone needs help, help them. You know? So, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos and watch them, and as always, be free.